Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be doing a ranking on all 6 Mission Impossible movies ahead of the upcoming release of Dead Reckoning Part 1. Since that's only a few days away from releasing in cinemas, I thought I would do a ranking of all 6 my movies so far. I love the Mission Impossible franchise. It's one of the best franchises of all time in my opinion. They are just so good action spy thriller movies. I've seen all 6 and yeah, the 7th one is actually my most anticipated movie of the entire year, so I'm really looking forward to that. Just keep in mind that all opinions and thoughts expressed in this video are entirely mine. Everyone has their own opinions, and these are just mine. So yeah, with that being said, let's just get into it. I know this is going to be a very unpopular opinion at the start straight away, but my least favourite Mission Impossible movie is the first Mission Impossible movie. Yeah, a lot of people will not agree with this, a lot of people will disagree. Now, I like all 6. They're not really. None of them are really bad. Essentially, yes, and Gloves 2. I actually quite like 2. But yeah, number 1. It's good. It's what kickstarted the entire franchise, and I give that a bit of respect. But it's just not that really entertaining. Really. Like there's a few scenes I quite like. Obviously, we've got the most famous part of the movie where he's in the vault and then he's downloading the knock list. And there's like the train sequence at the end, but there's not much of a thrill to it. Maybe like the vault scene is probably the best scene in the movie in my opinion. And that's quite intense, but there's not much of really thrills to this movie other than Ethan's team, being killed during a mission, and then he goes rogue, and then there's a mole within the team that turns out to be obviously his leader. But there's not much to it. There's some good characters. I like the characters. The story's pretty good, but there's not much to it really, other than and there wasn't a lot of obviously later on. Tom Cruise would go full on doing his stunts, but yeah, this is obviously when he didn't do much of his stunts really. But yeah, it's a good movie, but it's just not the best. It was being better, and yeah, it's just not that entertaining really, but it's fine. It's a fine watch for me. Fifth place is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the 4th movie in the franchise. This movie is essentially just like number 1, not bad as I said earlier on. All 6 are pretty good, but there's some that have just been better and some have just been a bit lackluster for me. But Ghost Protocol is one of those ones that are just been lackluster, and there's been better movies in the franchise than this one. So in terms of the action, it's better than number 1. You've got some sequences here, like the bit, obviously the most famous bit of the movie, and it's on the front cover of every single poster for this movie, is when Tom Cruise climbs the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. And then of course you get the sandstorm sequence a little bit after the Burj Khalifa. And then there's obviously this big bit in the end where he's in the garage, like the car thingy, and that's pretty good. And yeah, the movie, as I said, and yeah, I forgot at the start you get the big Kremlin sequence. As I said again countless times, the movie is essentially not that. It's not really. It's not bad. It's just there's been better ones that are serious. And it's good. It's good, and it obviously introduces Jeremy Renner as William Brent, who never returned after Rogue Nation. But yeah, everything else is pretty good in this movie. And that is all I have to say about this as well. So moving on to the next one. In 4th place is Mission Impossible 2, which is of course the second installment of the franchise and a lot of people's least favourites. Now, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one, but I actually quite like this movie. I mean, it's pretty cheesy, it's pretty dumb, yes, but I like sometimes dumb, cheesy action movies, and this is an example of one of them. And as I say, for a Mission Impossible movie, as I say, people don't like it. I think it's fine. John Woo obviously directed this with his slow motion sequences. That's pretty funny. But there's some great action sequences in this movie, unlike the first movie. I know it's not all about the action, but the stories are actually pretty interesting as well. Like how Chimera, the actual virus, can spread out the world, and then yeah, it's all about this kind of pharmaceutical company or something like that, trying buy it or something. I forgot, but the actual movie itself is pretty good. I quite like the settings in it. Like you get the obviously a large portion of it at the end, towards the end, is set in Australia. But there's bits where it's set throughout the world, pretty much. And let me get started on the action sequences. There's so much good action sequences crammed in here. There's of course, the very long motorcycle chase at the end. And then there's the beach fight. It's great. It's pretty cheesy, the beach fight, but I like it. With the slow mo, I know it's pretty cheesy, but I like it, as I say. And there's obviously there's so many. Like there's the shootout at the pharmacy tower thingy, where the virus is stored. There's Ethan climbing the the big rocky mountains at the start. It's just so many good sequences in this movie that I really enjoyed. And this was a really exhilarating action movie. So that's why it goes in fourth place. In third place is MI3, or Mission Impossible 3, funny enough. This is such an underrated movie in the franchise. It's a great movie, Mission Impossible 3. There's so much good things about this movie, in my opinion. It's got a darker tone. There's the villain's great, in my opinion. Like Philip Seymour Hoffman as the villain is quite a dark villain. I quite like it. Like the aspects of this movie, it's very different from the, let's just say, the second one. It was cheesy action. This was definitely more serious. I kind of like that, and like the second one, there's great action sequences. Like there's the bridge battle, which is the poster for this movie, or the one I'm using right now. There's of course there's the tower, like there's a skyscraper thing it does in China. Ethan jumps off it. It's pretty good. There's the bit where they're rescuing his IMF people. And there's like this helicopter chase. It's pretty good. And there's probably even more that I just can't remember. But yeah, the movie is great. I love how Ethan, his wife Julia, is getting kidnapped, and he has to save her. It's a very serious movie, and then like the IMF team for this movie is great. You got like Luther, Stickwell, Ving Rhames returning the role for that. There's Benji. Benji's introduced in this movie, which is great. And there's quite more. There's like two other people, I can't remember their names, but yeah. Overall, MI3 is a great movie, and it's quite underrated, so yeah. In second place is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, the fifth installment of the franchise. This is a great movie as well. I can't say, as I say, I'm saying it for every single, like, pretty much every single MI movie, because that's drift, they're all great. But Mission Impossible Rogue Nation is just a great, like, movie from start to finish. It's breathtaking, it's intense, it's edgy, it's the action, thrills. I love the villain, Solomon Lane, such a serious villain, and he's pretty evil as well. He's pretty bad to the bone. And of course, Rebecca Ferguson's character, Elsa Falls, is introduced in this movie. She's a great character in this movie. I love her character development, and how like she goes from being a person that doesn't trust Ethan to a person that works alongside Ethan. That's pretty good. And I love, there's just so many scenes that I just like edge of a seat, like suspense, like, or not suspense, but like thrills, like when Ethan dives into that giant water thing, you know, that tank thing, yeah, that water chamber. It's really, and then he just starts to like pass out. It's really intense, that scene, in my opinion. And obviously the motorcycle chase, of course, and even the opera scene where like there's so many agents trying to kill a certain person, and then yeah, it's just great overall. And obviously, of course, the plane scene at the start where he's grabbing onto the side of it, which is the one you see on screen right now. It's just it's all great. From start to finish, Rogue Nation's a great MI movie, and for me, it's ends at second place. First place winner has to go to Mission Impossible Fallout. Fallout is an absolute masterpiece. It is one of my favourite movies of all time as well. It's actually third, I think. Overall, it's just a great action movie as well. There's so many good things about this movie. It is just basically the perfect Mission Impossible movie. Maybe Dead Reckoning Part 1 will top that, but Fallout is just absolutely amazing. There's so many things to love about this movie. There's not much really negative things, I have to say. There's much great things, like the skydiving halo jump, which is the cover used for this movie, the poster. There's the bathroom fight, there's the cliff fight, there's the parkour chase across London. There's so much to love about this movie that I cannot actually think of a negative thing, because it's all great. There's the great villains, there's great characters like Henry Cavill as the main villain. It's just all great. I don't really know how to describe this movie other than fantastic. That's really all it is. It's a masterpiece as well, and from start to finish as well. It just has all the elements a Mission Impossible movie should have. A great story, great characters, good spy action and thriller and thrills. Like, it's just all good. And yeah, that's what makes it first place and one of my favourite movies of all time. And there is my ranking of all 6 Mission Impossible movies. What is your ranking? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please give this video a like, subscribe to Fun Studios if you want to. And until the next video, bye bye.